Yeah, it's
That's for
just
sure.
so bizarre that a culture that makes things like psilocybin illegal legalizes opiates,
Yes.
legalizes prescription use of opiates. And if you've seen any of the like the Netflix series Painkillers, a great example of what they did to get the entire country on board with this idea that pain is something you should manage with opiates on a
Yeah.
regular basis and stay on it.
Terrible idea.
It's nuts.
Terrible idea.
It's nuts. And that same culture making psilocybin.
And very often what happens is that the individual who's been prescribed opiates for pain, the doctor withdraws a prescription, then they have to go on the black market to acquire it.
Yeah, if they become addicted and they start abusing it, then they have to go find it somewhere else. And that's where you get all of
the whole thing is
fentanyl.
a disastrous mess. At my age, which is now 73, I can't avoid being aware that my time on this planet is limited. My work, my studies, my experiences over the years have left me with absolutely no fear of death. I do regard it as the beginning of the next great adventure. It's something that I think is going to be fascinating
When
and
you say
interesting.
the
But can I just finish?
Please, yeah.
I fear pain. I do fear pain, really severe pain, the pain of a lingering, terrible cancer, for example. If I found myself in that situation, that's an appropriate situation to take opiates. They're heroin and heroin derivatives can be useful in the management of pain, but otherwise I would steer completely clear of them. But yeah, the next great adventure.
What do you think that is? When you say the next great, where are you getting this belief from, and what do you think it is?
A lot of it comes from the work I've done with ayahuasca over the years. It goes back to a near-death experience I had in my late teens, massive electric shock. I left my body, was up around the light, saw myself slumped on the floor, and then I came back into my body. But from that moment, I doubted whether I am just my body or whether there's more to me than that, more to all of us than that. Ancient Egyptian ideas about this realm being a theater of experience where we come to learn and to grow and develop. We're obliged constantly, every day, to make choices, and those choices define us. And those choices may be very small or they may be very large. But we are learning, hopefully, from these. And I just don't think that this is an accident. This is my belief system. I don't commit to any of the monotheistic faiths, but this is my belief system, that this is a special place, that we are here to learn and to grow and to development in a world that has consequences, where there will be consequences to the decisions that we make. I like the Buddhist idea of going through multiple incarnations and eventually reaching a state of perfection where you embrace nirvana. But some come back, the bodhisattvas. They choose not to go to nirvana. They come back as teachers to teach human beings how to better and improve their lives.
That idea is uniquely terrifying to people, that you live life over and over again until you get it right. And I don't necessarily understand why, because I have the initial impulse to be terrified of it as well, but yet I really enjoy life.
Yeah.
Like if I had to do this one again, like I probably wouldn't like my childhood, but my childhood made me who I am today.
Yeah.
Even all of the bad experiences and mistakes that I've made, I really wish I didn't make them, but I did, and they make me who I am today.
And you learned from them.
I learned from them. I understand life better because of mistakes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And, people oftentimes dwell on mistakes and think that defines them. And it can be a real problem, particularly with young people that are insecure, that have had like some sort of a disastrous thing happen, like business failure, being fired, become a drug addict, go to jail, whatever it is, steal something. And then you're defined by the worst mistakes that you've made, and that becomes you forever.
Which you may have made in a state of complete immaturity where you didn't even really fully understand what you were doing.
Oftentimes is the case. And, even older people that make mistakes, like this idea that you should know by a certain time. Like, look, this is a constant evolving adventure that we're all on. And if you're a person who's 35 years old and you feel like, oh my God, how could I fuck this up so bad at 35? I'm such a loser. Yeah. Like, no, this is just what happens with humans. These are mistakes. Like, people make mistakes, and you got to be able to rebound and learn from it. And that's the process of growth. And that's the only way it gets to you.
It's the only way it gets to you, and it's really important to be able to make mistakes and to learn from them. And that's another problem with leadership, which is that the whole leadership structure seeks to protect us from making our own sovereign decisions about our lives.
Yes.
To deny us the opportunity to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes. We've all got to be these perfect creatures that go through life producing and consuming and not causing any trouble. A friend of ours in the UK, Amanda Fielding, runs. You've had her on your show.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Wonderful lady. She runs the Beckley Foundation, and they are. Amanda has been very effective over the years in getting legislation changed and in funding research into psychedelics. And one of the things I know that Amanda is looking at is hospices that offer psychedelic therapy, and I think that would be very useful. You're not obliged to take the psychedelics. It's a free choice. But they would be available in a setting with experienced practitioners who know what they're doing, who know how best to offer these medicines to help people transition through the death process.
And it's been shown that, particularly psilocybin, through these end-of-life fears, that it has an amazing effect on people.
An amazing effect. People in a terminal condition with cancer who've been terrified of death stop being afraid of death anymore. It's not consuming them anymore. They feel that they're part of something wider and larger and bigger. That this body, this life, this time and place is only an incident in a much longer story.
Which is, to me, one of the weird things about rigid atheism. This concept that when your brain shuts off, when your body dies, consciousness ends, and it's just blank. And it's just our ego that wants us to believe that there's something more and greater afterwards.
So annoying, that.
Well, it's just
Richard
weird.
Dawkins, the selfish gene. He's responsible for a lot of that thinking.
Well, it's they don't want to buy into foolishness. And a lot of them believe that at least some of the beliefs of organized religion are just mythical, foolish notions that people attach themselves to in order to comfort themselves, but that they, of the superior intellect, don't need those comforts.
That's right.
And they can embrace the darkness.
And their intellects are so superior that they don't realize that they themselves are practicing a religion.
Yeah.
That is a religious belief. If a scientist says there is no life after death, we are just accidents of chemistry and biology, that is not a statement of scientific fact.
Well, it's also the most arrogant
That's an opinion.
ones. The most arrogant ones are the ones that don't have the psychedelic experiences.
That's true.
Notice the people that have had psychedelic experiences, they waffle on those ideas a little bit. They go, well, I don't know what that was.
There's no doubt that psychedelic experiences change people, and by and large, they change people in a positive way.